Hello everybody, my name is Connor Lewis. Today we are going to talk about movies again. I've made 2 videos so far about movies, and this year I've seen many, many movies. I think I'm at 164 on the year so far, and today I'm going to be counting down the 10 best movies of the year so far. We're a little more than halfway through the year. Today is currently July 29th, and there's still a lot of movies to come for the rest of the year, but I want to talk about the 10 best films of the year so far. I don't want to waste any more time, no more filibustering. Let's just jump in. At number 10, we're starting with Toy Story 5. This came out this year. It's directed by Andrew Stanton. It is the latest Pixar film, and it's pretty good. Like, it's a pretty damn good movie. This movie is about Bonnie, who, if you remember from the previous 2 Toy Story movies, is the new Andy of the franchise. And in this, she gets a lily pad, which is an iPad stand-in, and it kind of disconnects her from her toys and forces her to kind of grow up, and she has to deal with some of the social problems with that. Meanwhile, the toys, led by Jessie now, because this is kind of like a Jessie-led movie, must try to help her find her way back to her toys. That's kind of the overall idea. It's still in theaters right now. I would definitely recommend checking this out. I've seen it twice, and it's really good. I have 2 kind of issues with it. I'll start with the positives. It's very funny. Has a lot of heart, and it's super sweet. It looks good. The animation's as good as Pixar's ever been. And it's really tight. It's like 90 minutes. Like it moves with pace. And even the second time around, kids movies, when you're rewatching them, it's not like you're watching for plot. Like, you're not like, I need to know what's happening. You're kind of just enjoying the ride. And this one moves really well. It flows. The 2 biggest issues. Now, I will say, the first Toy Story, I rewatched somewhat recently, and something that stuck out to me was the background toys and how memorable they are. They all have specific lines, and if you were to read a script of the original Toy Story, even the second or third one, you could read a line and you could probably think of which toy that's going to be, whether it's Mr. Potato Head or whether it's Slinky or Rex or whatever. One of the problems that I've ran into with this one, especially the second time around, as you notice it more, is that those side toys, with the exception of maybe Forky, who showed up in the previous Toy Story, that I think is actually pretty good, don't get as much to do. And it's not like in previous movies they're really major to the plot compared to Woody, Buzz, or Jessie, but they don't even really have a lot of lines or any sort of thing that makes them stand out, to put it pretty bluntly. And I think that's a flaw, because I think that's what made the first Toy Story so special. And I still think the first one's the best of all 5, is that there was so much life to this world. And not to say this one feels lifeless, because I don't think that's true, but it feels a little loose in that department. My other issue that I run into with this movie is its stance on the tech thing. Now, obviously, like I mentioned, the lily pad thing, at first it's kind of introduced as the end of toys and the end of playtime, as it's kind of spoken throughout the movie, and how this lily pad entity, played by Greta Lee, who's very good. I can't believe I forgot her name. She's very, very good in this role. Kind of signifies the end of this era and how these toys are on their way out. And by the end, we don't really have a firm tech is good or tech is bad. It kind of just feels very safe, and it doesn't feel like, and I understand Pixar's a multi-billion-dollar company. They're not really going to make a huge statement on that, especially I'm sure they have ties to other tech companies that have probably helped them throughout the years. Apple's the most notable one with Steve Jobs and that whole history there. But there's not really a through line that we see at the end, and we're like, okay, so the lily pad arc ends with this. By the end of the movie, not to spoil it, but I mean, if you haven't seen it now, you probably should. It kind of just ends pretty gracefully. There's not really any change, I feel, maybe with that plot line. It's not the only plot of the story. There's other things about Jessie, kind of who's the main character in this. I think, as I mentioned, kind of finding out about her roots and her importance in the life of a young woman, which I think works really well. But again, the tech part of it it's like, this is a really good idea. Like when I heard Toy Story 5 was happening, I'm like, this is not gonna work. But this works. It works really well. It's really enjoyable. And I'm pretty happy about this and how they overall they did a pretty damn good job. Pixar knows what they're doing. They kind of bounced back. Hoppers was pretty close to making this list. It wasn't that far off from cracking the top 10. And this one's pretty good. And I think that's a good way to start the list. Number 9 on this list has had a little bit of controversy. It was a huge hit this year, and that was Backrooms, a movie I've seen twice as well. I love this, man. This movie's really good. It's not totally perfect, but considering, you know, the whole joke of the whole run of this film in theaters was that Kane Parsons, the director, was 20 years old, now 21. And putting that aside, that makes no difference. I still think this is a tremendous movie, and if this was made by any other director and it was the exact same, I think people would be like, this is really good. There's a little bit of controversy surrounding this story. Just for some background for those who don't know, because I wasn't super familiar with the Backrooms before this movie, purposefully, because I kind of wanted to avoid the information and just going kind of blind, was that a 4chan post happened some years ago, and this kid, Kane Parsons, Kane Pixels on YouTube, runs with this idea in the app Blender, the application called Blender, and makes a series of YouTube videos about these back rooms and builds up this lore behind it. And people were upset. There was a strong group of people, I don't know if it was a majority, but a pretty large amount of people that were upset that this movie was not those videos essentially for 90 minutes. There was an actual plot, and there were characters who changed and had faults and had their falls and their rises. And we see Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, Captain Clark, go through that dramatic change. Like his character, he's the main character. We see him kind of dramatically fall from trying to run this business and trying to stay sane to accepting this life that he's kind of created for himself in the back rooms. This movie's very good. I love the set design. I think it's so eerie. The first time through, I was pretty damn scared most of the time. I'm not huge on horror movies, but I love the atmosphere this brings. I hope there's more of this. I hope Kane Parsons does more. Kane Parsons does more of this. He was kind of attached or rumored to be doing a Portal movie from the famous Valve game, which I loved as a kid. I loved those games, both 1 and 2. And I think this is a good step. I don't know why else people don't like this. I think the characters are pretty well, versed. Renee Reinsve, who plays Mary, is another interesting character, and I love their dynamic between Clark and Mary. I think both actors bring so much to the table. I love both of them. I think they're both really good, and I think especially in this is not a movie where you need two, and not to undersell the actors, but two massive names. Like this movie is not as good if throwing a random name out there, Ryan Gosling's in it or something. It's a different movie, totally. It might be a little distracting as much as I think we all love Ryan Gosling. And he's on this list too. His movie's on this list eventually. We'll get there. But I think what's so powerful about this movie is that it's not driven by its actors. It's driven by this elusive plot line that kind of supersedes everything that you're seeing around you. And again, I love the set design. I love that there was really not a whole lot of CGI. I'm gonna look at his name. Robert Bobrisky, probably not the right pronunciation, plays the pirate Clark, and it's done practically. There's no CGI. Like, I didn't know that. I did not know that until afterwards. I can't wait to pick this up on Blu-ray. If you know my channel, you know that I'm a massive collector of Blu-rays and DVDs. I can't wait to get the behind-the-scenes stuff. I did not see the Everything Must Go cut. Very curious to know what that's like. So maybe that increases the rating, or maybe it stays the same. But I love what we got from this. I think it's a really strong adaptation. I don't think it's perfect. The writing, there's a little bit to be desired from the script, I think. But again, it's just a first time around sort of thing. And it was a hit, like for all intents and purposes. I think the budget was around $10 million, and it blew out expectations. And I was super impressed by this movie. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be watching it maybe again when it comes out on Blu-ray if it's not out already. And yeah, I think this is really strong. If you have seen this and you didn't like it the first time, I recommend going back into it with a fresh pair of eyes. Maybe watch the Everything Must Go version with the extra 15 minutes of footage at the end. But yeah, Backrooms is number 9 on my list. Really strong movie. I hope it gets a set design or like one of those visual effects Oscar nominations. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but for the sake of the industry, I hope it does. Number 8 on my list is the drama directed by Christopher Borsley. That's totally probably butchering it, but that's important because he directed one of my favorite movies of the whole decade so far, of the 2020s, Dream Scenario, which stars Nicolas Cage, which is kind of another. Those movies are quite different, the drama and Dream Scenario, but it's another movie that has this kind of extreme idea where you don't really know what you're gonna get until you watch it. It's hard to explain, and it's better to go in blind. The drama works really well. I'll read the synopsis really quick from Letterboxd. A happily engaged couple is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. That's a perfect description of what this movie is. There's a reveal in it that I won't spoil because I think the movie works best if you don't know it. If you have already seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I did not know. I talked to some people who did know about this reveal that they're referring to in the synopsis. I knew some people who didn't. If you don't know anything about the movie, go in, watch it as soon as you can, obviously. I don't think it's on streaming yet. It'll probably be on HBO very soon. This movie's super good. Like, it has 2 really good performances. It looks good. I like the script. And it has pretty good pace. Like, what more can you want? And I love it. It's not an idea I thought what I would love that much. It, on a surface level, if you just read that description, there's probably a lot of movies like that came out in like the 70s or 80s that probably aren't as successful. This one's really good though. Like, this one works really well. I can't believe it's not on streaming. This came out almost 5 months ago at this point, so we should be getting it quite soon. This movie's really good, man. And especially love Zendaya's performance in this. She's been having a great year. She has another movie on this list because she's been so busy, and she's probably the most important actress we have that's under the age of 40. Is that fair to say? Like, I just thinking about names in my head. She's super talented. Pattinson's great, and it's a pretty damn good supporting cast too. The theater vibe, the vibe in the theater will never be beat. Don't watch this with your mom like I did. Like, make her watch Sheep Detectives or something nice, like something pleasant. As much as I like this movie, this is not a pleasant movie. Not the best vibes all the way through. At the end, I'd rather I won't say, but good movie, really good stuff. Who is this written by? I'm kind of just doing this off the cuff. Oh, okay, yeah, same writer, Christopher. I think this works really well. It's not as fresh in my mind, but from what I remember, I'll take a look at what I wrote in my review. This is another one a little bit like Backrooms, where I don't know if people knew what they were getting themselves into, and they didn't like it as much. And I disagree with that. I think this movie's really good, and I need to watch it again, I think, to really appreciate the whole thing. This is another movie that was driven by 2 really good stars and a good plot, and it made a lot of money. Like, it was very successful. And maybe 3 years ago, if this came out in 2023 with the same plot and the same actors, maybe it's not as successful. And I don't think that speaks to the quality of the movie, but it speaks to where we are as an industry right now, which is very much more interesting conversation, I think, as a grander idea, that people are starting to go back to the theaters, and those last 3 movies that I've talked about are all mainstream, but they've also all made a lot of money. Like, they have major casts, they have strong directors behind them, they have great ideas, but I think Toy Story 5 is an exception because I think it's a franchise movie by a big studio like Pixar that was going to make a lot of money, and it could have came out any year. Backrooms and the drama, if this is 2022 or 2023, it probably isn't the same. Maybe Backrooms, but the drama, I think, it's a different story. And I'm glad people saw it, and I can't wait to rewatch this one. probably when it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll probably pick this up. There's a couple this year that I'm definitely picking up. A little later on my list, there's some I'm really excited about, especially for the behind-the-scenes stuff. Number 7 on my list is Send Help, directed by Sam Raimi. This was, I think, one of the first major movies, if not the first major movie to come out this year. I believe it came out in January. Did not see this opening weekend, but I did end up seeing this. I will read the description. It's on streaming right now. The plot goes as so. 2 colleagues become stranded on a deserted island, the only survivors of a plane crash. On the island, they must overcome past grievances and work together to survive, but ultimately, it's a battle of wills and wit to make it out alive. It's really strong, and Sam Raimi is an awesome director. He's one of my favorites, as I remember, like, one of my earliest memories is watching the Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man films, movies I hold really dear to my heart. And Raimi really knows how to do horror. This movie starts pretty straightforward. You kind of know, based off the plot, what's going to happen. As I mess with my hair, that seems to be changing every second. You kind of know where this movie's going to go, right? And yet, the plane crash that is discussed is still shocking, and it still really draws you in. And it stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, which is really good. And this is another good example because I feel like at first this movie didn't succeed box office-wise as good as we hoped. But over time, due to word of mouth and due to high critic scores and many other things, this is a horror movie also. Not as many things out at this time. If this came out in July, it's probably not the same. It made a lot of money, and it was financially quite successful. And yet, I still feel like people didn't see it enough. It's on Hulu right now. So far, I would strongly recommend it. I mean, it is, at this point, the best, in my opinion, the best movie that I've discussed so far. And Raimi just knows how to use a camera. Like, it's a gorgeous looking movie. It has some really good looking shots. It's extremely heart pounding. It's thrilling. It's exciting. It's so fun. It's a little funny, but in a super dark way. And Rachel McAdams is unbelievable in this. Like, this is a perfect role for her. And it's interesting because as actresses start to get older and they hit their 30s and their 40s and eventually their 50s and 60s, it's hard to get roles. And it's not a great thing, but it's the reality that we face in Hollywood and in the movie industry. And this is an awesome role for her. And I think there are many actresses who would have totally killed for this role. And I think McAdams nails it out of the park. I'm a huge fan of hers because she can do comedy, she can do drama, she can do horror, obviously. She's super versatile. And I think there's a pretty damn good twist towards the end of this that adds another layer onto everything. This movie's really good. I really recommend this one. I probably should have rewatched this, but I think if you're looking for a movie on streaming that's gonna really thrill you and really get you pumped up and get that blood flowing, I think Send Help's a pretty good option. At number 5 on my list, I have The Invite, which is a very recent movie. It came out just about a month ago, I believe, or maybe this month. And it is directed by Olivia Wilde. It stars Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Edward Norton, and Penelope Cruz. And they're pretty much the only people in this movie. I mean, for the majority of the time, it is 4 people in a room or a collection of rooms talking, essentially. There's more to it than that, obviously. But I think it's an extremely well-written, super funny viewpoint of where couples are right now, maybe in a millennial sense or a younger Gen X area. The plot is as follows. Joe and Angela's marriage, played by Rogen and Wilde, is on thin ice. When they invite their enigmatic upstairs neighbors for a dinner party, the night spirals into unexpected places. Really good plot. The trailers are really good for this. They don't reveal much. One thing I love about this movie especially is how well it's shot. I can't explain enough. There's shots through doorways or door frames, in between, going through mirrors. There's low angle shots, high angle shots that are used to push the story along, as well as to visually be gorgeous. Like there's a mirror shot where 2 people are talking kind of privately, and it's shot through the mirror almost to represent the secrets being told. it seems so simple, but I've never really seen it before. Maybe I haven't seen enough movies, but it's super effective. It's really funny. I saw this with a nearly sold out crowd, and it was so good. Like, it was, I must rewatch this very soon. It's very horny, which I wasn't totally expecting. I didn't really know how far it was going to go, but it's on a different level, though. It's relatable, and it's funny, and you can kind of see yourself in all four of these characters, in Rogen, Wilde, Cruise, and Norton's characters. It feels real, and I'm 20 years old, but I can still feel like I relate to Edward Norton, who I think is really good in this. But my standout for this, actually, I think, is Penelope Cruz, who I think has a genuinely awesome performance. But Edward Norton has a really good monologue towards the end that really stands out to me. And I heard a story on a different podcast. Olivia Wilde was saying how Edward Norton wanted to give his character some backstory, and he didn't prepare anybody in the cast or the crew or whatever as to what he was going to say during this monologue. And the reaction on Olivia Wilde's face during that scene is totally genuine. And she did not know what Norton was going to say. If you know anything about Ed Norton, he kind of has this reputation in Hollywood for taking a little bit of control maybe when he's not supposed to. I still love him. I don't care. I think he's a really ingenious actor. But the kind of the balls to do something like that in a movie that has relatively low stakes, seemingly, but it just feels so palpable, man. It's really good. It's still in theaters right now. It's a riot. I laughed the whole time. Definitely check that out. The Invite is an extremely good movie, and Olivia Wilde. People were a little. I think there was some concern because she directed what? Don't Worry, Darling. That was her previous movie, which is 4 years ago now. But she's kind of bounced back. I didn't see Don't Worry, Darling, so I don't know anything about it. I know Harry Styles in it, but that's all I know. But she's, quote-unquote, free from director jail. This is a really good movie. It's hard for me to really explain. It's funny. When a movie's funny, there's not much more to say than the jokes land. There is more to this than that. And I hope more people see it. The box office has been okay. I think the word of mouth has been good. It's been dropping very slowly, which is very good. I hope people see this when it's still in theaters. It's super effective, and it's a laugh riot, dude. You'll thank me. This is a fantastic movie, and I had a great time with it. I think you will too, and I think Seth Rogen. Might be my favorite Seth Rogen performance, and from what I've heard, there's a chance this gets nominated for 5 or 6 Oscars, possibly. So it's an awards contender, seemingly. Maybe not Best Picture, but I would check this out if you're interested in that level of film. At number 5 on my list is Project Hail Mary. This is starring Ryan Gosling, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. This was probably the first major box office success of the year. There's been, again, Send Help was a movie that made a large sum of money. Wuthering Heights was another one, but I think this one really was the first movie we could all gather around and say, this is great. This is a hit. I've seen it 3 times in theaters. It's, plot aside and acting aside and everything else, as a work of craftsmanship, it's like a 25 out of 10. It's unbelievable how good this movie looks. The practical design and the set design of this is fantastic. It's hard to put it into words, so hopefully I'll remember to put some photos and videos on screen. This movie is great. This works for me, even if you don't love the plot or you think it's too long, which maybe they may well be. It's such a work of art that it's hard to put it aside. And Gosling, it's either this is a very make or break performance for this whole movie. If the Gosling performance works, then it's as good as it is. If it doesn't work, then it's kind of boring, because it's a lot of Gosling either talking to camera, essentially, or talking to a puppet who is voiced by James Ortiz, who is actually up for he's eligible for a supporting actor role in the coming Oscars. This movie's on Amazon Prime Video. I haven't seen it since it's left theaters, but I'm sure it still really hits at home. It's still really well written. This is a really good Gosling performance. He's in a very interesting phase right now, especially after the recent announcement that he will be playing Ghost Rider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's in an interesting phase. He did The Gray Man, he did The Fall Guy, he did Barbie, he did this, and then he's doing Star Wars Starfighter, and then he's doing Ghost Rider. So he's in a very IP-heavy phase. Kind of an interesting turning point. He's doing basically one movie a year. He's getting, I'm sure, a nice paycheck for it. It's kind of interesting to see his career evolve over time from being the guy from The Notebook to these more dramatic, smaller films to now some of the biggest movies of the year on a year-to-year basis. Barbie especially was a massive sensation. And I'm sure Star Wars Starfighter will be too. This movie is great. A quick summary of the plot. Science teacher Ryland Grace wakes up on a spaceship light years from home with no recollection of who he is or how he got there. As his memory returns, he begins to uncover his mission. Solve the riddle of the mysterious substance causing the sun to die out. He must call on his scientific knowledge and unorthodox ideas to save everything on Earth from extinction. But an unexpected friendship means he may not have to do it alone. That's exactly what it is. And from the jump, I knew I was gonna like this movie a lot. One of my only criticisms of it is that sometimes these true dramatic moments and these true thoughtful lines of dialogue are broken up with jokes that feel a little superhero-y. I just got done watching Spider-Man Homecoming, and it's a good movie, and I enjoyed it. But it kind of suffers that same fate, and I can only pin that probably on the studios, I guess. I hate to place blame on Lord and Miller, who are very good at the dramatic in comedies. I think the Lego Movie is a very good example of that, where towards the end in that third act, there's some more dramatic moments compared to the vibe of the rest of the movie. I still really like this. It doesn't really change my mind. I still think this movie is pretty damn great. Again, it means so much to me because I love a movie that puts time and effort into it. Even if it means it's going to cost a little extra compared to using CGI, I still think it works. And I really had a good time with it. I've seen it 3 times. Of course, I really like it. And again, I think it was like the first big hit of the year. And I think it resonates with a lot of people. A lot of people I know would live and die for this movie. They would die on the hill that this is a flawless movie. I think it shows how much it's really resonated with the people, and I'm happy about that. I'm happy that this movie did well, and I don't think he'll win it, but I think Gosling will get a strong actor nomination for it, which I think he deserves. At number 4 on my list, I have Disclosure Day. I think this is probably the most controversial movie because it's been a very hot and cold reception. Financially, it's done quite well, but this is Steven Spielberg's latest movie. And it's almost embarrassing how good Steven Spielberg is at directing films. The biggest criticisms I've heard, which I disagree with, are that this movie feels like it's from a different time. And that is true, but how does that affect the quality of the movie? In a literal way, people are saying the use of flip phones and network news makes it feel very un-2026, which is true, but it's also a Steven Spielberg movie. I don't know what you're looking to get into. It's hard for me to kind of disagree with that sentiment, but I don't think it affects the quality of the movie for me. This is a really good movie about uncovering secrets, government hiding things from us, and the power of network news, which that last part doesn't really hold up in 2026 as well as this movie maybe hopes it does. It's hard for me to hate this. It looks really good. I think it's paced pretty well. I like the writing a lot, and I love Emily Blunt's performance. I'll give a quick description of this because I feel like not enough people have seen it. A cybersecurity expert becomes a whistleblower after uncovering secrets about aliens, putting him on the run from a corporation. Meanwhile, a meteorologist experiencing strange phenomena joins forces with him to prove there's life beyond our understanding. There was also some disappointment that at the end, we don't see as much as maybe we should have. we don't see as many aliens as we should. And some people argued that there should have been more. Like, this movie should have been longer, and when it ends, this should be the beginning of a small, extended plot. I don't agree. I like the ending. I like how it ends. It doesn't need to. It's okay to be open-ended. Like, it's okay to have an open-ended ending. That's probably, a useless rhetoric, but this movie's good. It's very optimistic too. That's, I think, something that maybe people aren't resonating with. If this was a movie directed by Martin Scorsese, which I don't think he'd ever do an alien movie, at least to this degree, it would probably be a little more sour at the end, which is, Martin Scorsese is my favorite director of all time. So that's not a critique. It's just their style. But this is a very optimistic ending, and it kind of falls in line with something like E.T. that ends in a it kind of gives you a warm feeling overall. Like, that movie's a warm blanket. This one, maybe not to the same degree, but I still think it's pretty great. And I still think Spielberg's got his fastball. And again, I don't know if people are totally vibing with the script. Some people argue the second act is too long. I don't know if I totally agree with that. But one thing that really stands out, as I kind of glossed over a little bit, was the Emily Blunt performance of it all, where she speaks like different languages. She's doing like alien noises. She has to be charismatic, like in the news portion of it, but she also has to be quite dramatic at points. This is like the best performance she's ever given. And I can say that strongly because, coincidentally, Emily Blunt is my favorite actress of all time. I've loved so many of the things she's been in. She has so much range, like from Edge of Tomorrow to Devil Wears Prada. She can do pretty much everything that you'd want an actress to do. This is a perfect performance from her. Josh O'Connor's in it, Colin Firth, Coleman Domingo, Eve Hewson, and Wyatt Russell. Did not know Wyatt Russell was in this until he like showed up in the movie, and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's doing this. That made me like it a little more. He's very funny in this movie. I can't get myself to dislike it. I've only seen it once, so maybe when it's on digital, because I don't really think it's in theaters in my area at this point, I'll take another look. But it's a Steven Spielberg movie about aliens. I had a really good time. I was moved. I was thrilled. There's a really cool car chase scene that is like just dynamite, man. It just moves really well. And it's not for everybody. It's quite optimistic at the end. It's kind of a letter Spielberg sending out to the world saying, this can unite people. This is something that can unite people. And there's a way you can look at this where this is Spielberg talking about himself and talking about his own movies and what his movies, at least in his mind, can do for society. And that is bring people together. And in many instances, that is true. I mean, think about like how Jurassic Park and E.T. and Indiana Jones have brought people together culturally. Perhaps he thinks this is what this movie will do. Whether that's true or successful, that's a different conversation. But that's an interesting way to view this. And I like the idea. I think it's kind of an interesting way to look at that movie. And I just think it's successful. Again, I might need another look. Especially, actually, I really like Josh O'Connor's performance. I think this movie's really strong, and I still think Spielberg got it, and I can't wait for his Western that comes out probably in 2 or 3 years. At number 3 on my list is Obsession, directed by Curry Barker, that came out this year. The smash hit sensation that absolutely blew people away. And it's easy to understand why. This movie's thrilling. It has a great performance by Indy Navarrete at the center of it. And a really good performance by Michael Johnston, who I feel like throughout this wave of positivity for Indy has kind of gotten the backside of that and maybe hasn't gotten his praise. Because this movie doesn't work if these actors don't have chemistry, and they definitely do. In every sense of the word chemistry, if you have seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. This is a really good movie. A quick description. After breaking the mysterious one-wished willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come at a dark, sinister price. It's as good as it is, and it's such a simple idea. And Curry Barker, who is, I believe, 26 years old, directs this movie really well on a micro budget, I believe $750,000, which seems like a lot of money, but for a major film like this that has been such a cultural wildfire, it's a really small budget for sure. I think at this point it's made over $400 million. You can still probably find it at a movie theater, at least like a major one like an AMC or a Regal. It is on digital. I believe you can rent this if you so choose, but I would recommend seeing it in theaters on a big screen if you still can. This movie's like just really good. Like, it's very well paced. It's scary when it needs to be. It's a little funny, which I mentioned before, and I believe when I was talking about Send Help. It's funny in a dark way, but that's what Curry Barker does so well. Is he's a comedy guy. He does comedy skits on YouTube and TikTok, and perhaps that's where we're going as this industry moves and grows and evolves. Is going to be people who make YouTube videos and who do skits or do sketches that kind of have a little bit of a twist to them. And in a way, this movie is very funny, and it's kind of an idea that I can't believe no one's really done before. I believe the stories that Curry Barker saw an episode of The Simpsons and was inspired and made this. That's fascinating. Like, that is where we're getting ideas from. We're not getting ideas, at least young people, for films like this are not getting ideas from the ancient texts, so to speak, of like Gone with the Wind or Citizen Kane. They may be watching those movies, but the ideas are stemming from more contemporary culture. Obviously, The Simpsons has been around for like 30 years, 40 years, probably close to that. But it's interesting to see where this has gone and how this has changed and how people are referencing things that have come before in a more recent way. This movie is really good. It's hard for me to kind of poke holes in it. It's a surprising Andy Richter performance who kind of just is there. I didn't see that coming. I almost didn't recognize him when I saw it the first time around, but this movie's really good. It's incredible how much it's blown up. Even for its expectations, which I think a lot of people knew this was going to be like a pretty decent like hit relative to its budget, and it just kind of explodes into this big thing that has millions of like memes online about the no, I thought we were having a good day. Like, that scene is before I saw this movie. I did not watch one trailer for it. I only saw that one scene online, and I said, that's all I need to know. Because I knew that Navarrette's performance was just going to hit. It was just going to be pitch perfect to what I wanted this to be. That's all I knew about this. And I was still very impressed. And I do want to talk about what Curry Barker's doing next, because he basically has a blank check now after that sensation. His next movie is anything but ghosts. Two con artists operating a fake paranormal investigation business are pulled into a terrifying nightmare after encountering a real dark entity. Curry Barker, who is the director of Obsession and this movie, is the star, along with Cooper Tomlinson, and Bryce Dallas Howard and Aaron Paul are both in it. Two, like, big names. Like, that shows how much pull this guy can get. A really good idea. I don't know if we have a time. I'm guessing maybe next year it would come out. And he's doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he has another movie. Ooh, I don't know what studio is this. Blumhouse is doing another movie with him. I mean, he's got the sauce. I hope, my hope for this is that he continues to do horror, because he's got 3 horror movies lined up over the next probably 5 years, I would guess. I hope he kind of ventures and does straight comedy. I want to see what that's like. Kind of maybe in a way where Tim Robinson did Friendship last year. Not that successful, unfortunately, financially. I thought it was very good. In theaters, I saw that. And maybe that's where he can help revive this genre of comedy that's kind of, unfortunately, not so strong. Yeah, Obsession's really good. Watch it if you haven't. You probably have, because this movie's a massive hit. We are down to the final 2. One of these movies is probably going to be the biggest movie of the year, and the other is one of the smallest movies of the year as far as popularity goes. And number 2 is what the latter is. It is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. A mouthful of words, but an excellent movie that I think is super successful. The plot is this. When they're planning to book a show at the Rivoli, goes horribly wrong, Matt and Jay accidentally travel back to the year 2008. Quite simple. This is based off a TV show on Viceland that's now on Hulu and was previously based off a web series made by the two main people, Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll. This movie it was unbelievable to see in theaters. It was absolutely it's my favorite movie of the year, like by a long shot. I've seen it twice now. I own it on Blu-ray. It is funny. It is genuine. It has so much heart. Did I mention it's funny? Like, this is a riot. Like, I think it's the funniest movie I've seen in a very long time, especially in theaters. I laughed so much. And the spectacle of it all, for a small movie set and filmed in Toronto, Canada, this movie has some unbelievable examples of guerrilla filmmaking, but as well as really good use of like Blender and I guess kind of CGI. I'm not totally sure how a lot of this movie was shot or filmed. That's the beauty of this, is that when you go into it and you're watching this happen, you're like, how do they do this? And let me try to, if I can quickly find this review. Yeah, one of the top reviews for this movie on Letterboxd is, a part of this says, asked myself, how do they do that at least 50 times? I don't know a better way to draw you into this. It's on Hulu right now, this film, as well as the TV show. It's based off, you don't need to watch the show or the web series before seeing this. I did not. Within the first 5 to 10 minutes, you'll know exactly what this is. You'll get it. You'll probably laugh a lot, and it'll make you want to watch the show, which is also on Hulu right now. I will be probably binge watching the show very soon. It recently just got added. Matt Johnson, who has quickly become one of my favorite creative people. He directed and starred in this. He directed and participated in Blackberry, which came out a few years ago with Jay Baruchel and Glenn Howerton. He was in The Dirties, Operation Avalanche, Matt and Mara. He's directing the Tony, which is the I'm blanking. Anthony Bourdain, the Anthony Bourdain movie that is coming out within the next month. He's directing a Magic the Gathering movie. He has quickly become this massive sensation, and he knows comedy. Like, this is exactly what I want to see in a movie. It's an unbelievable thing. I cannot recommend this enough. If you like time travel, if you like movies that are shot in the real world with people who don't really know they're in a movie, kind of like Borat is a good example of that. This is it. This is something I think we're going to look back on as a true cult sensation. I wish I was there when the show was coming out, but it was a Canadian-made show. Seeing this in theaters, I was so damn lucky. I was totally blown away. I still love this a lot. Please watch this. Seriously, if you're going to watch any of these, I recommend this only because it's the smallest by a long shot. Financially, and I would say following-wise, the smallest movie here. The fan base of Matt Johnson, Jay McCarroll, and Nirvana the Band, the show, and its movie is quite strong, but not huge. It's such an interesting fandom, and I don't really follow fandoms that closely, but this one is, the inside jokes are so good, and there's just so much happens in this, and I don't want to tell you more than I absolutely need to, because there are so many surprises and so many, oh my god, did I just see that? And oh my god, how did they do that in this? That it's hard for me to totally explain without giving it all away. Watch this movie, it's on Hulu. And if you want to rent it from Letterboxd Store, you can do that. But if you have Hulu, please watch this. It's so good. It's also 100 minutes. It's not long. It flies. It absolutely flies. At number 1 on my list is The Odyssey. I mean, what do you want me to say? It is going to be the biggest movie of the year. It'll be nominated for 12 Oscars. It has one of the best casts in this decade, maybe this century, in a film. It stars Matt Damon. It's directed by Christopher Nolan, who has made a movie about politicians basically talking in rooms for 3 hours, $1 billion movie. And then he makes this absolute epic with great design, great actors, a huge idea that seemingly was impossible to put on film, but works almost perfectly here. It stars Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Himesh Patel, John Leguizamo, Charlize Theron, Travis Scott, Corey Hawkins, Elliot Page, Mia Goth, Benny Safdie, Zendaya is in this. It's a beautiful, well-crafted movie film. And at points, it is some of the most gorgeous filmmaking and cinematography you're going to see in a movie, maybe in your life. And at other points, it's some of the coolest fight sequences and swords and sandals battles that you could possibly hope to see in a film. And that's not hyperbole. That's what Christopher Nolan does for films. And there seems to be sort of a massive split decision on Chris Nolan probably before this, maybe even before Oppenheimer, where it was, one camp was, he's the great filmmaker of our time. He makes movies with spectacle and a lot of pizzazz, and he looks for perfection. And the other camp was that he is not interested in writing. His characters feel flat. A lot of his movies look cool, but there's not a lot of substance. But I feel like since Oppenheimer and now this, that narrative has shifted where they're both together. And there's one overall camp, and there's people on the outside looking in, criticizing some of the choices that are made in this film. And I'm not interested in hearing about it. I don't really care, because this works super well. It was super effective. It's a 3-hour epic that gets people to go to theaters. And I saw it in IMAX in Boston, and it was totally worth the wait. I didn't see it opening day. I saw it just a few days ago. It's still fresh in my mind. And some of the most gorgeous sequences you can imagine in a film are in this. I must see it in theaters at least one more time. It's something you need to see in a packed theater on as big a screen as possible. That's what it's made for. It's been repeated and repeated over and over again. It doesn't make it any less true. Like, this is a fantastic movie, and it's the best movie of the year so far. I don't know if it will get surpassed. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a movie that comes out this year that is better than this. Like, it's hard for me to say that, because it's such a bold idea. And again, there's still like months left, and there's still so much good stuff to come. But this is like it. Like, this is what we've been working towards. And I feel like Chris Nolan has now reached this high power as a filmmaker, where if Oppenheimer didn't prove it, this certainly will, that any studio in their right mind will allow him to do whatever he wants. And at this point, it's Universal. And they have a unnamed film slated for 2029 in July. That likely will be his next film. What that will be, I don't know. We're kind of looking into the future a lot with that, considering this movie just came out and there's still so much to discuss. And I feel like I'm not even doing it justice, because I just think it works super well. And it has a lot of great performances in it. And Anne Hathaway stands out to me, like especially Anne Hathaway. And I said this to my friend Nick when I walked out of the theater with them, and I said, Anne Hathaway is probably the best performance. And she doesn't get enough to do, but I just think she has some dramatic sequences in conversation with Tom Holland's character Telemachus, excuse me. I'm still learning these names. They're a little confusing. That are just so good. Like that are just so effective, and she's like basically like beating Holland in a game of 1-on-1 11-0 in these scenes, like in a metaphorical way. Himesh Patel really struck me. Wasn't in any of the marketing at all, I feel like, or any of the press, and he's in it a lot, and he's really good. And I wish he had a little more spotlight. I'm a believer in him. I think he's quite good as an actor. Yeah, man, this movie's great. There's a lot of great craftsmanship. I mean, the Cyclops and the Trojan horse are the big ones. The fight with the giants in that forest, that is practically done. There's not, as far as I know, any CGI. I'm sure there might be some things. I need to see the behind the scenes stuff. Peacock has a half an hour, like, this is how the Odyssey was made thing. I think it's called The Making of the Odyssey. Yeah, it's good, man. It's really good. Like, to put it simply, like, it works super well. I think my review on Letterboxd was like 12 paragraphs long or something like that. There's so much to say about this, and it's hard to like nail it down in just this small amount of time because I'm not trying to, overextend this segment of the end part of the episode or the video episode. Yeah, okay. It's good. And maybe I'll have a longer discussion, hopefully with a guest after I see it at least another time. Try to see this in IMAX if you can. I mean, Spider-Man's around the corner, if not already here. I believe I'm seeing it tomorrow. So if you can see it in IMAX, I don't know how that's the Spider-Man and the IMAX thing's working with this, in correlation with this, but try to see this at least in theaters, if not IMAX, or wherever you see your films. This is, if you're gonna see a movie this year and you're gonna go to theaters, let it be this one, man. If you're one of those people that goes like 2 or 3 times a year, see this. I don't think you'll regret it. Even though it's 3 hours, even though it's not super funny, sometimes there's a little bit of quippiness to it. It doesn't matter. This movie's great. Thank you all for watching this video that I made of me talking at a camera for probably half an hour. I love movies, man. If anyone has any suggestions, please put them in the comments. I will shout out a few things very quickly that did not quite make the top 10. Tuner, which was originally on this list, but then I saw The Odyssey. I was going to make this before I saw it, but I ended up seeing The Odyssey and then making this after. Really good film by Daniel Rohr. Stars Leo Whittle, Havana Rose Liu, and Dustin Hoffman. A talented piano tuner's life is turned upside down when he discovers that his meticulous skills for tuning pianos can equally be applied to cracking safes. Really good action heist thing. Has some really good chemistry between Liu and Woodall. It's really good. And Daniel Rohr, I believe this is his first feature film. He's done documentaries before, but as far as a plot-driven film, this is his first, and it's super good. Dustin Hoffman's in it, and he's very charming. It's a good movie. It's on streaming now. It was in theaters, but it barely got any time. I wish this had a longer lifetime in theaters. That's really effective. And I'll also shout out Hoppers, a really good Pixar film that came out in March, and I was very charmed by. I laughed a good amount. John Hamm is very funny in it. He kind of plays this wacky mayor who is there's a lot to like with Hoppers, and it's not the greatest Pixar film ever made. I think it's quite effective, and yeah, it's a good time. It's a good kids film. It's probably on Disney Plus at this point, right? It is. Yes, it is on Disney Plus. Go check that out. That's a good movie. And yeah, there will be probably a part 2 at the end of the year about the then at that point 10. If I had to guess, I only think The Odyssey is locked to make the final 10 of the year. Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie will be in it. They're both quite high for me. I'll say Obsession, Disclosure Day, and Project Hail Mary all have a chance to stay. Those top 5. Beyond that, bottom 5, I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of films to see. I don't know. I'm ready though. I'm ready for the rest of the year. And soon I'll do my 10 most anticipated films for the rest of the year. Because even after all that, there's still on this list I have, including my honorable mentions, I have 15 films that I'm extremely excited for and quite pumped to see. That go beyond this, and I don't know how many of them will be great, but I have confidence that we're in for a really good rest of the year.